This story, and I was like, wow, wow, wow. But we know that it happens all the time, and it is older men that they always get, I call it maybe midlife crisis for a lot of men, because just like how women go through things, men go through things as well, not just women. So this couple, they're married for 22 years. That's no small thing, right? 22 years. The man is 47, the woman is 42. He has his own business that he's running. She has a business of her own as well. One of her friends from school days, college, decides that she's going to move back because apparently she was living there before and then she moved away. She's going to move back to that state where they are. And her friends say, yeah, that would be great. We'll welcome you back. She came back. The woman decided to introduce the girl, because apparently her husband didn't know her, introduce this one to her husband, right? That was the worst mistake she made, let me say that. Because even though they were busy working and everything, he was working with his business, he said they kind of lost touch with each other. The marriage, the relationship wasn't like how it was before, because obviously everybody's busy doing their own thing. She introduced her husband to this woman. Don't y'all know that 3 months after that woman just moved back there, that the man, her own husband of 22 years, was leaving her to go and be with this woman? Now this woman that moved back is 36 years old. So obviously now a little bit younger than his wife. Gloria Jones said that sucks. That man wanted a young, fresh, and green woman. Green is right. Tessa Sterling, good morning. I see you all as you're joining. So guys, the woman was 36. Only 3 months after she moved back, he left his wife and went to her and moved in with her, packed his stuff and just left. The wife was in shock. Of course she was mad, but what's she gonna do, right? What's she gonna do? She said that the man, when he drove off from the house, the man was all excited. So what is she supposed to do? Argue with him? No. She just let the man go on about his business. He gone over to the woman. Got the nerve when he get over to the woman, taking out the bags. The lady's at the door standing up. She's feeling bad that the man coming with all this stuff. She's allegedly feeling bad that he left his wife. And he's telling her, don't worry about it. Our marriage has not been good for many years. Don't even feel bad about it. This is what I want. I love you. I want to be with you. Only 3 months, yeah. 3 months. So he got excited because he saw something new, something fresh. Anyhow, there was another friend of that same wife who lived in the same town, right? They were best friends as well. She watching all this unfold. This man leaving his wife to go with this other woman, and she was not happy with that either. She was upset. But not only upset that he was leaving the woman, wait till I tell you why she was upset too. Anyhow, guys, 7 days after he moved in with that new woman, guess what happened? The woman ended up capide, gone, no longer. He came home apparently one night, very, very late. He came home, the police was already there because the woman was found in the backyard of her own house, and it seemed like somebody had stabbed, whatever, something in her neck. So obviously she didn't make it. But it was a neighbor who found her because of the neighbor's dog. The woman took the dog outside to walk. And you know how dogs are when, they can sense certain things that's happening. And the dog just pull away from her. And she's telling the dog to come back, but she couldn't catch him because he was already gone. When she followed to go and grab her dog, that's when she saw the woman barely breathing and blood coming out. So she called the cops. Anyhow, the woman did not make it, right? So he come home to question him now because everybody in the town was already talking about this whole situation. How could this man leave his wife to go and be with this one for 3 months? They done call her a home wrecker. They done talk about her all over the place in that town. Anyhow, the man had a good alibi, right? Don't y'all know who turned out to have captured that woman? The same wife, other best friend. That is the one that captured the woman because of jealousy Not only that she was upset that the man left his wife and go to that woman, she also was in love with the woman's husband too. When I heard that twist, I was like, what? Say what? So you want to tell me that if this woman never came back to town and he went with this younger woman, chances are that at some point she probably would have copied her friend as well to be with the man? It was such a mess. But the part that had me is that when everybody was talking about it around the way, because you know, like I told you guys, they had businesses and the wife had like a bakery. People could come in and sit down and eat. And it was just gossip all over the place. But the wife kept her cool and she said, you know what? Let him go on. If he's happier with the other woman, so be. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to go and confront this woman to argue with her for? I mean, it's not only like she stole my husband, but my husband wanted to be with her. Midlife crisis again. How many men go through this thing? You know how many men they got out there that are older in age and they leave their wives or their girlfriends that they've been with for many years of their life to run after young women, and half of them young women, all they want from them is what they can get. Whether it be money, whatever they got to offer, that's all they're interested in. Because outside of that, hello, do you really think that they're going to stay with that older man for a long time? You know how many men regret making those mistakes or taking that step to go and leave their wives of so many years that they done had children with, everybody know them, to go and be with other women, and then it doesn't work out. And then they cannot come back to that wife that they had for all those years that they walk out on. Gloria Jones said, sad story, it ended that way. Yes, it's sad that it ended that way, but somehow from the beginning, when the man walked out on his wife, and you know, the way how they narrated the story, when that friend came over, the things that she was saying, I already knew. I didn't even have to wait till I finished listening to it. I already knew that she was the one who could buy that woman. Just from the anger that she had. How could he do this to you after all these years? Y'all got a child together. And then for that woman, only 3 months that you introduced them. And this is what happened, right? Don't introduce your best friends or some of your friends to your husband or to your men. Because guess what? These are some of the things that they do behind the scenes. They get close to their man. Next thing you know, the man going to her workplace. They meeting secretly. You don't know. You know, it's 3 months compared to 22 years. 22 years of marriage. And he only met a woman for 3 months. I was like, wait. He's not right in his head. 3 months? Seriously? And you already done gone and pack up everything. Like you're so excited now. This woman is making you feel more alive. And she's making you feel good. Because exactly what he said, okay? That the woman makes him feel alive. Obviously, the woman is younger than you. What you expect? She's younger than you, so she can make you feel alive. But deep down, you throw away everything that you had with your wife for 22 years. If you feel like y'all are not connecting anymore, hello, start coming up with things. Do things that you used to do way back when you first met. Take your wife out for dinner. Come home early from work before she get there. Run a tub. Get some nice flowers like Peggy and decorate around the tub. Do things, you know what I mean, to spice things up so that way you can feel young again or lively again, whatever you were missing, but not to go and throw away 22 years of a marriage and for only 3 months of knowing somebody. No, he was not right in his mind. To me, that was very sad. And then after I listened to that, to be honest, I started thinking, because I know that in my life, I've heard about many people that were married for so many years and then they broke up. Or maybe the man went with another woman. Or maybe the woman went with another man. But in a lot of cases, guess what? A lot of cases, from what I've heard, is a lot of times that the man does go with another woman, a younger woman. And that's how that ends up going down. But not to end up to the point of somebody being kapai and it's not even his own wife that was upset, obviously, that he did this to her. But even when her son came home from school, college, and he was talking to her about it and telling her, oh, she needs to divorce and make him give her half of everything and all of this, told him, you know what? I'm going to divorce your dad, but I don't need half of everything. I don't need half of his business. Whatever he has with his business, let him keep it. I have my own business and I'm satisfied. So she was handling it really, really well, unlike her friend who wasn't living far from them, that was very upset that the man chose the younger woman over her, because that's what she was upset about. Yes, she was upset that the man left the woman and gone, but this younger woman now, he come and choose her over me, when I've been here all the time, in their face, and their marriage, going to their house for birthdays and whatever and parties, and he's not looking in my direction. So that is two reasons she told the detective. Obviously, they found out it was her because of forensics and found some blood particles in her car, and she had to eventually confess. And the man asked her, but why did you do it? Like, the wife was not that upset to go to that point. Why did you really do it? She said because she was upset that he did this to her friend, and chances are that they were going to run off and go to another country or whatever to live, or another state, and she could not see that happen because she loved him. And I was like, wow, I'm not even shocked. You know, it's one of those things when the story starts and you start hearing one person talking a certain way, you kind of know how this is going to end, right? So I could have really fast forwarded, but I wanted to listen to all the details of everything. So trust me, if you got a friend out there, even if you think that that person is your best friend, be very careful. Be very aware of who you invite or introduce your men to, or your women to. Because again, it doesn't always happen to just women or men, vice versa, right? It happens to many other people. Sonia Pink, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. I can't remember which year of my life it was, but a woman has already told me a story like that happened to her, where she introduced one of her friends to her boyfriend or her husband, whatever, and two of them ended up talking behind the scenes secretly, and she didn't even know. She did not know. But when she found out, what could she do? It made no sense arguing with a woman, truly. You know what I mean? Because the person already is showing you who they are, and you just leave that and you move on with your life. Peggy Senior, I see you in there. Because imagine if his wife had took matters into her own hands. She herself would end up behind bars. What's she going to end up behind bars for? Is it worth it? No, it's not. The man already made his choice. And just let him do his thing. What's going to happen next? The other friend going to end up in jail, obviously. The other woman. But now he's alone. Just like how his wife that he left is alone. Do you think that she will want him back? It ended there right after they found out that the woman is the one who copied her. The story didn't really go on to, you know, about what happened next. You know how these things always end, leave you in suspense, but there's also a reason for the story being told, because it wants people to know and be aware and hear about these things that happens all the time in this life. It could have been one of those situations as well, where he could have stayed right in that house with his wife of 22 years, and he could have been going behind her back, right? And dating that woman of 3 months, dating her, having fun with her, doing all kind of things. Meanwhile, he's still living in the house with his wife. It could have been one of those things. But he chose to go and live with that woman after just 3 months. And guess what? A lot of stuff surrounding his business started to fall apart because the people in the neighborhood were talking about it, putting him on blast, because they couldn't understand why he could leave his wife after all these years, after everything that they done built together, and gone with this woman. So it didn't sit well with a lot of people. But Selma said men and women alike think the grass is greener on the other side, not knowing it's the same green grass. What a shame. True, exactly. Well, in his eyes, he figured that the grass was green on the other side. Why? Because it's a younger woman, right? She's a few years younger than his wife. He said she makes him feel alive and happy and whatever else he had going on over there, okay? He probably felt like Stella, that he got his groove back, you know what I mean? Because maybe him and his wife, they're so busy with their businesses. Maybe they weren't really having a lot of bedroom action either. So maybe this one figure that since this woman came back 3 months now, he's been blissfully happy. His sex life is not how it was with his wife, you know. So only God knows, right? So he really thought that the grass was greener on the other side, Selma. Indeed. Not realizing that in his eyes it was green, and not realizing that there was somebody else lurking there in the bushes watching and just upset because he chose her and not that one, right? In addition to leaving his wife just like that. But you are right, Selma. Indeed, both men and women think like that, especially when they're in marriages and relationship. Sometimes they even see the neighbor or their friend or one of their family members. There are events and they think, oh, they're so happy. Oh, look at how he's cuddling her. Look at how he's showing her so much love and affection. And they're wondering, why can't their damn husband or wife be like this? Why can't they do these things? You know what I mean? And the moment that they get somebody that start loving on them and making them feel all these things, they're ready to go. They're ready to cheat. They're ready to say, you know what? My life is just too bored, man. Let me spice this up, you know what I mean? And that person that is doing that is the one who's causing them to feel spiced up. And they make that mistake and then they regret it and they can't come back. Because once you leave women like that for after so many years, guess what? Women like that want you back. Some men as well. The women don't want you back. They really don't. Yes, they're upset, but they've made up in their mind, you know what? If he can up and leave me after all these years, what am I supposed to do? Pine over him? Run behind him? Hell no. No way. Life goes on, is what they say. And there's more fishes out there in the sea if you ever decide to venture down that path of getting somebody else or going in another relationship. So don't even waste time. Don't even argue, because arguing ain't going to do nothing at all. You know how many times that lady, which is her friend, the one that could fight a woman, you know how many times she called that lady and said, oh, you need to go confront her. You need to do this. You need to confront her to find out how she could betray you like this. And the woman said, you know what? I'm too tired. I don't even want to be bothered with it. I don't want to be bothered. I'm too tired. So she took matters into her own hands. Because on the same day that she went to those people's house, she had actually talked that ex-wife, no, his wife, because they weren't divorced yet. She talked that lady into going and talking to that woman, you know. And the lady told her on the phone, yes, you know, I will go and talk with her and, you know, just to talk and say it. Guess what? The lady changed her mind, never went. And her friend found out that she never ended up ending. So she decided to go and talk to the woman herself. And obviously the woman let her in. Why? Because the woman also knew her from before as well. They all knew each other. So she didn't think anything suspicious of it. When this wife's friend came to the house, knock, she invited her in. They were talking. And as they were talking, and apparently the woman was sharing things with her, you know, about his business is seemed to be falling apart. He's not getting certain deals and whatever. Maybe they need to move to another city or another state. And that's when the rage got in this one. She's thinking, not only did she steal my friend's husband, but now she want to make him move to another place, away from us, away from me. Just like that. She said a knife was right there on the woman's counter because the woman was cooking. She just took it up. And when the lady turned her back, she just rammed the lady right in her neck. And I said, Jesus, wow, that's brutal. You know what I mean? But again, that's what you call life. Life, my people. And unfortunately, she think that she was doing her friend a favor, or maybe herself, because like I said, she was also in love with that husband, and her friend didn't even know all those years. But she gone behind bars, and I'm sure that that lady, her name was Tasha, she probably is not going to even believe the reasons why she did it. that she was also in love with that woman's husband. Can you guys imagine that crap? Unbelievable. Anytime you get yourself to that place where you feel like you beginning to become in love with your friend's husband, you should just separate yourself. Separate yourself as much as you can, because it ain't not going to end well. Because if you don't separate yourself, every time you see two of them together, you're going to just be jealous. All depends on what's going on in their house or what they're doing together. Jealousy is going to come into place. So separate yourself from the situation. And, you know, for me personally, that's what I would do. And then my friend asked me, oh, what's going on? We don't see you coming around much anymore. What's happening? I would say, you know what? I've been busy. I've been busy with work and stuff. I would just make that excuse before I make myself look a damn fool. I'm just saying. But everybody is not the same, right? Everybody is not the same. And sometimes we just have to leave it to God and just live life is what you got to do. Don't go and try to take matters into your own hands, because guess what? It's not going to go well. And possibility that if that man's wife had went over there and talked to that lady, they probably would have gotten in an argument. Because how are you going to explain to your friend of how you end up taking her husband and just 3 months? She just introduced you to her husband 3 months ago, and how he moved in with you. How's she going to explain that? So for me personally, I felt like she did the right thing by not going to them people's house. Because she may be the one who would have ended up behind bars. Because they probably would have gotten an argument. They probably would have fought. Something would have happened that wouldn't have gone in her favor. So yes, my people. Yeah, so life goes on, right? Is what I say. Life goes on. Because you know you got them sly little foxes, them women, I tell you, that you think is your friend or even the neighbors or whatever, and they already know eyeing your husband. You probably already done scoped them out and realized that, that one day, so I'm going to keep my eye on that one. But should you be keeping your eye on the woman, or should you be more concerned about that man? If the man is faithful to you, then there's no reason for him to stray off with that other woman, right? If he's faithful to you, if he really value your relationship or the marriage, right? Bernice, thank you so much for 100 stars, darling. Appreciate you. So Mildred said, good morning, beautiful. Happy Friday to all. Sweet peaches. I'm listening with you. Thank you so much, darling. Thank you for listening as well and for joining. And thank you for typing, because I'm talking to myself today now. Nobody's interacting, and yeah. So I guess we might end this live early because nobody seems to have no stories or heard about things that happen like this to their friend, their sister, their brother, or neighbor, even if they ain't call their name, right? Carolyn Cox, good morning. Good morning. Welcome, darling. It's good to see you in there. Yes, my people. So I'm sure that some people have seen these things happen around them before. I'm sure. And ain't nobody that can tell me that ain't nothing like this ever happened around them. Unless maybe it never happened around you, but maybe to one of your friends or family, like I said. Because a lot of times, these things happen in real life. We see it, we hear it. The neighbor, your friend, your sister, husband, or somebody done having an affair with somebody else that y'all heard about. Because talk gets around in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? So I must simply repeat that story sounds like beyond the gates. No. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Maybe. Yeah, I don't think it's Beyond the Gates. It's a story or movie. If it is, I didn't watch that one. Yeah. So Mildred said, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Who's celebrating our anniversary? Happy weekend. Thank you for that, Mildred, for putting that in there. But indeed, happy birthday to everyone born in this month of May. Indeed, my people. You know stories get around. When you live in a subdivision, when you live in a little community where everybody know everybody know your husband or know you, know your children, anything that happen, they're going to get them. The neighbors going to know about it. They're going to hear about it. Unless it's kept on the wraps, you know what I mean? Unless there's no big, talk about it. But you will hear about it if it's going on. Me, for instance, right, when we live in Tampa, our house was Well, we live on a street, obviously, but our house was in a subdivision, right? Now I got these subdivisions here, so that it got a name. It's either gated or you could just drive in, and there's different streets, different areas in the subdivision. So we had this street that we was living down. It was a new construction subdivision. Some of the streets, houses were there for many years, whereas some were newly built. And let me tell y'all something. The house that we lived at, we were kind of like, so you come down the street, ours was kind of like in a little bend. So you come, you go curve, our house was right here. And right at that curve, there was another house directly across from ours as well. And the way how this street homes were built, there were 2-story homes or 1-story homes. The builders, you cannot have a house next to each other that got the same color. You know those kind of subdivisions. Anyhow, the home that was across from ours was also a 2-story like ours, right? And let me tell you something. The wife was not working for a while. They had 2 kids, and they were, don't let me say where they were from, okay? But they weren't African Americans. And so the wife wasn't working for a while, but when she started working, you know how it is when women start working now and they're going to work, people seeing them, men, and they noticing them and all of this. Some people started noticing her on the job, men, okay? And her husband, that way said, don't me speak here, because if you hear me talking, Anyhow, he was into some shady kind of stuff, okay? He knew people that were locked up in maximum security prisons for certain things that maybe all of them were probably involved in. So they had BMW, Mercedes, you know what I mean? And their house was immaculate inside. It was really, really nice. Some stuff that was from out of this world. They should have made a story on them too. Anyhow, let me tell y'all basically what has started happening since people started noticing this woman, because she was very, very pretty, beautiful, long curly hair. Like, that man started getting so jealous, right? He was allegedly working kind of overnight, allegedly at some bar. I don't know what he was doing here, but he was into some other stuff, really, where all this money was coming from. And he started getting real jealous, started peeping behind this woman, doing all kind of crazy, out of the norm stuff, okay? Anyhow, something went wrong, and that woman was planning on leaving him. I know, because again, the man was one of those hot-headed type of people. I don't even know if he probably used to beat her over there or whatever, but because our house was 2-story as well, sometimes if you upstairs in our game room, our bedroom, which was at the front of the house, you could hear a big argument going on over there, loud, loud, loud. Sometimes they open the garage door and they're arguing, and obviously the neighbors can hear. Least to say, my people, he ended up, okay, let me tell y'all this part, because this is just putting too much out there. And he ended up talking to my ex, okay, and talking about the situation and so forth, and asking him if he could hide some things for him. They might even had a gun safe in the house. Tall gun safe, my people, okay? And it had guns in it as well. I'm telling you, because he ended up showing it to my ex. When all this commotion was going on with him and his wife, and he was going crazy, I would call it. Sorry to say that. You know, so he was saying, hey, Greg, man, I need to talk to you, man. But he's talking about the woman's situation. And he bring him in the house. He say, yeah, man, I got all this stuff, and I got all this stuff in the house, man. She want to put me out my house, and all this, she want to leave, and all this stuff. Anyhow, he showed my ex the gun safe. Even open it, and I was like, what? Because now I'm scared as heck. Because this is like a movie thing that we seen going on over there. One morning, the girl woke up to go to work, right? BMW that he had bought for her, the SUV one. He called the people and had them put a boot or one of those things where the vehicle can't move. Vehicle can't leave the garage. She could open the garage door, but the vehicles can't drive. She can't even start it. She couldn't go to work. All of a sudden, morning early, 7 o'clock, I'm hearing this big commotion. Why the F you do this and put this on my car? Now, how am I going to get to work? Next thing you know, people, I heard my phone ringing. It is her now when she went back in the house. And I'm like, what the hell is this woman calling me for? Well, we're not friends like that. I mean, we're neighbors. Hello? Carol, can you believe that this man put this on my car? I can't even, how am I going to get to work? Can you drive me to work? I said, Jesus God, what this woman going to bring me in this for now? Because I don't know these people like that. We're just neighbors, you know what I mean? I told my ex, can you believe she want me to take her work? He said, well, you can't say no because she know that you're home. She know that your vehicle's out there. She know that you work overnight. Just take her. Just don't get too into it, you know what I mean? Guys, I took the woman to work on that day and I prayed to God. She said, can you pick me back up? I said, I don't, probably not because I got to get to sleep. I got to go to work tonight, but let me see what I can do. But if I can't come, I will let you know because I don't want to get in it. You know what I mean? I tell her that. So I dropped the woman to work. I come back and I said, The man came out the garage on the phone loud. This bad woman, she think that she gonna just leave me after everything I do. We swore, we thought that man was gonna kapite that woman for real because he had that kind of rage. You don't know what she did when she came home. Somebody else brought her home. I did not go. And that night when she came home, it was big argument over there. Next thing, now we see the cops showing up. I said, Jesus, take the wheel. Cops show up. Cops told him that he got to leave the house. He must leave the house, go somewhere else. He can't be here. Because apparently she probably told the cops that she's scared of him, whatever. My people, he left the house, right? But you know he was not happy about that. And how do I know? Because he was communicating with my ex. Anyhow, least to say, you know what that crazy man started doing? He would drive down that street, park the car on the other side, like a little bit further from our house, and be watching to see when the garage will open and all of this. So he would even come and go and open our garage door when she's at work, because no cops in around, nobody in around. Look, that thing turned into such a big mess. I wanted to tell you all here because you don't know who's on social media. Lisa said, my people, that was such a nasty situation. Let me tell you, nasty, nasty, nasty. There were times that she even came home, even after she called the cops and she couldn't get in the house because he done changed the locks. He done did it all. Because obviously he's coming when she's at work and no cops in around. There were times he even called my ex and said, man, I need to come over there, man. Have you seen any cops lurking around? He's like, nah, man, I haven't been really around. I don't know, man. He said, man, but can you look outside and tell me if you see any cops out there? Park, I need to come in and get this so I can... Not know this man used to be coming and doing some real foul stuff, you know what I mean? But it turned out to be a big mess. But at least to say after their drama of about a whole ongoing 6 months, they had to come to a realization that, hey, look, that house got to be sold. The house got to be sold. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all think things don't happen in this life. A lot of things happen. That's what I'm saying. These ones should have been a movie. For real, for real. It's a soap opera on CBS. Okay, so I might see. Things like this happens, guys. They went through this whole thing for 6 months. There was even one time that he packed up. He opened the trunk inside his, he was in the garage. And I was looking out because I saw him come illegally, meaning he wasn't meant to be there. And I saw him got the trunk open. And I'm like, what is he doing? Maybe he came for his clothes, you know what I mean? Because he was putting stuff in the trunk. Looked like clothes and shoes. Least to know when that woman came home from work, she called me, obviously. I know what she called me because I live right across. Carol, can you come here? I said, what's going on? She said, can you just come for a minute? She said, when I ask you something. I said, oh, God. I come to the door now. She said, come in, come in. I said, what's happening? She said, did you see him come here today? I said, to be honest, I don't know. I was sleeping because after I took my kids to school, but I was lying. I know that he came. I didn't see him. I was sleeping. I don't know what's going on. She said, I went to work and now I come back. All my clothes are gone. All my shoes are gone. I said, what? She said, yes, let me show you. She took me upstairs to the house, guys. And as I was going up the stairs of the house, I'm like, where the hell they get all this money to buy all these dang on expensive stuff? That's why I told you I don't know what he was involved in, okay? And when I look in closet, all of her clothes was gone. Everything, nothing in there was belonging to her. She said the man took every damn thing, my jeans, my shoes, every freaking, but she's cussing, obviously. How the hell? I said, when would he have to do this? She said, well, I was at work. I don't know. But he still got the key thing for the garage, so he can still come in through the garage. I said, wow. She called the cops. The cops came. I went no home about my business because I didn't want nobody questioning me, right? Because I did not want to get involved, okay? He had my ex too deep involved because he was calling him to find out when she gone. I didn't want to be bothered with that. And I told him he should stay out of it too. But Lisa said she never rendered back no clothes, no shoes, because the cops went looking for him, obviously, right? And they couldn't find him. No whereabouts, nothing. So she couldn't drive that BMW, my people, because he still had it on lockdown in that garage. But because they had a 2-car garage, that's how he was able to fit his. She ended up having to use money to go and get a vehicle of her own. I don't know if she was making payments on it because she had to get to work, obviously. But they had 2 children that was watching this. All this drama and cycle going on. Her daughter was what? That girl was probably about 10, 11. And the little boy was only like 3 years old. And they was watching all of that, hearing all the argument. Sometimes the argument gets so big, it come from the house and they come in the driveway with the garage open. And the whole neighborhood just watching that whole second drama. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Neighbors see it all. Even the neighbors that were living all the way down the corner that were black people were saying, what the hell going on with these two? Like, oh my God. So everybody was seeing it. So anyhow, I don't know, somebody probably told them, look, you know what? Y'all need to do something. Y'all can't live in this house together. He can't come at the house. He's coming when you going to work. This like the War of the Roses. The best thing y'all should do is just go your separate ways and sell this house, is what they told them. I don't know who told them or how they came to that. But one day we just saw a for sale sign outside, and she even asked me if I saw who put the for sale sign outside. I said, well, I don't know. Like, I don't see these things. I don't be looking out. She said, well, I never really agreed with him to sell the house. I know that we're trying to work this out, but a for sale sign is outside. She took the for sale sign, threw it in the garage. And then I said to her, but that's probably the best thing to do anyway. Sell the house because y'all can't live here together. He's going to continue to keep coming back, causing drama in your life. Why not find a place of your own and just go your separate ways? My people, after about a month, that's exactly what they did. She called me one day and she said, yeah, I'm just going to leave the house. I found a place. I'm just going to go there and let him sell the house. He have to give me half of it anyways because my name is on it. And my people, that's exactly what they did. And while she was gone, he came back to the house while it was for sale. And he started back living in the house while she was out of it. So my people, this kind of madness happens in real life. You think it doesn't, but it happens. And there was a lot more stuff that went on around this story as well. But it's just that I can't talk about it because you don't know who on social media. I could still even remember their names. Jesus, now that I think about it. Lord have mercy. Yes, Midred, indeed. Yes, my people. So drama, drama, drama. You only got to live in a subdivision or someplace like that to experience certain things. In Brooklyn, when we had our house, our street was not that kind of drama. Meaning that the street we live on, it was named Avenue L. And then it wasn't a community like that though. You know what I mean? Avenue L. Then they had another street over here and then another street at the end. So we was living near to the Canarsie Park Pier. So you know how the houses over there was. It wasn't really a subdivision like this one in Tampa. So it was a lot of drama, my people, least to say, okay, is all I'm going to tell you. And I was already afraid of that guy because he was very hot-tempered, you know what I mean? Like he's one of them people that, you know, he would comply somebody probably if he get to that point. And those people were so blissfully happy in the beginning when they moved on that block because I think that we lived there before them. When our house was finished building, we lived there, and I think they probably came maybe 6 months after or 9 months after. But those people were so happy, happy as can be, lavished, spending money, a lot of expensive things, and the woman wasn't working. And he was only leaving our house to go someplace at night. So that's what I'm telling you. I don't know. Some things people is being involved in, okay? All I know is that he had a Mercedes. At the end of all of this, he was driving a Mercedes, but a car, because the other car was still in our garage. And allegedly, because we were in the car business, he had reached out to my ex to see how he can try to get the title for the Mercedes he was driving. Because the person who he allowed to purchase a car was now in maximum locked up. Let me just move on from that, my people. Hey, it's crazy things happen in this world. You would never believe it. You would never think that it happens, but it happens. That's why nothing that go on this social media, it don't surprise me anymore. Because these things happen. Sometimes people might say, oh, that story's not true. They probably make that up. Oh, no, things like these happen. If I didn't tell you about this one, if I didn't live across from them people, and somebody had told me about all this drama, I would have said, what? That happened on your street? On your block? No, man, that happened. Yes, it did. It did happen. It did happen, okay? It really did. So that's just, you call that life, okay? But the next set of people that bought the house, they were W people. And those ones seemed to be very peaceful. Yes, they had 2 kids as well. So yes, my people, and they ended up fencing around the house. I don't think that they knew the amount of drama that went on over there. Hopefully those people, bad luck and everything that happened in that house was not trickled down to them. And but I think the man got rid of a lot of stuff in the house though, because the stuff again was very expensive. His safe, I'm sure that he got rid of that safe, and he probably sold a lot of things from in the house. Because some people, when you sell your houses, some people might ask the new owners, right, if they want some of the things in the home, they will price it a certain way. But I think if I remember, there was a lot of stuff that was taken out that house. I don't know what they did with it, because the girl went to an apartment, and I don't know where he went, like where he was living, right? So the only thing I told her of advice as a woman, just don't let that man know where you're living. And I know that I could say that, but trust me, he's the type of person that would have followed her, because he knew where she was working. And I'm sure that many days he was probably at that workplace with somebody else's car, or maybe with a rental car, lurking around. Because sometimes when he came on the block, guess what? He did not come with his Mercedes. He came with different vehicles. Because remember, the police already knows the vehicle that she told him he's driving and so forth. So he's not going to come with that vehicle. Lord have mercy. I hope that the woman is still alive and, you know, that they're doing okay. Because people like that would hunt you down and kapay you, to be very honest. They will go to that lengths because they felt like, how dare you? How dare you leave me? How dare you go to get a job and now you got other people looking at you and interested in you and whatever. And don't ask me how he found that part out, right? But yes, he did find out that there was people on her job that was looking at her, hitting her up and all these things. And he just got in a rage and did the most. Yes. And those clothes and shoes that he probably took belonging to her, guess what? He probably took them and burned them, or probably took them and dumped them on some dump site. Because he is that type of person that will do that. Jesus. I really wonder what will become of them. Seriously. If they had stayed on the block, meaning if one of them had stayed living on our block, I probably would have known more. But because they move, and once they move, I never used to call the lady. Because again, me and her wasn't friends, right? It's only because she was going through this point in her life that she reached out and asked me for help to drive her to work, asking me this and asking me that. But other than that, I was not friends with her like that. After she moved away to the apartment, I did communicate with her maybe once or twice. And I said, I'm happy that you got a place of your own and so forth. Just be safe and watch your back. What else can I tell her? She got to watch her back from a crazy man, right? A crazy one that had plenty of things, right? You know what I mean? I don't know if he had those things illegally or if those weapons were registered. Only God knows. Because for a person to go that far as to keep them in a safe, locked up like that, they probably weren't legal. Only God knows. And from the time that I heard that he had that over there, I was even living in fear on the block. I didn't even tell them, my neighbors, none of that. The ones around the corner, the black people, that sometimes we will walk around the block, me and the children, and they say, what the hell going on over here across from your house with them neighbors? I said, oh, geez, that is another drama. I didn't want to talk about that. They say, yeah, because I was coming home the other night, and I saw that man out there carrying on. And look, I ain't even telling people now what I'm going to say here, because already I was already scared of that thing there. So, And I think one day when the cops showed up and they wanted to come into his house, he told them, no, y'all don't need to come in here. I told you she went to work. And that's the day when they told him that he got to leave. So he started feeling weird. So maybe those firearms were not legal. You know what I mean? Because he told them that they don't need to come in. She's not there. She's at work. And that's when they say, you got to leave the house. Okay, no problem. I'll leave the house. So, yeah. But that's what I'm talking about, people. That's why I tell you there's always a set of people. Now, they always got some sort of drama going on. And it's things that are just out of the norm that you would not imagine. Yes. Yes, because those ones, I think that some of those kind of people, they got a lot of stuff going on that you don't hear about, but it's happening out there. And they were not black people, because they always think that black people are always causing drama on the blocks where they live in or in the neighborhood. That's why sometimes the W people don't want blacks moving in the neighborhood. When they see you moving in their neighborhood, they say, oh, Lord, they're coming to cause trouble now. The moment that you just play a little bit of loud music in the neighborhood, they want to call the police, or they think it again. But thank God that that block, that street we live on, it was very diverse. They had people from all walks of the world. Chinese were living on there. Yes, many different people. Jamaicans, people from Barbados. No, I don't think we were only Bajans on that block. The other black people around the corner, I think they were probably from another country, but I can't remember where they were from. Jesus. But Lord have mercy, they end up having a story as well. I told you that whole block just turned upside down for some reason. It's like somebody had cast something on that block. I'm sorry. Because those other two that I live around the corner too, they end up separating about a year or two after that too. And the woman ended up going away. They ended up selling the house. Damn. That block was cursed. Now I think about it. I see you in there, Raphael. The block ended up being cursed. Now I think about it. Wow. But you call that life, right? In life, things happen. And we just move on. We just go on. So, yeah. So this one, things that I listen to, guys, whether it's on YouTube or no matter where it is, sometimes I'm like, some of these stories, I'm like, hey, this really happened? What the hell? But then when you look back at things that happen along your life and things that you heard about, even if it's in your neighborhood, you come to the realization that yes, these things do happen. Because in one of those houses, not far from ours, somebody was actually shot in the house, a wife. And who you think did it? A husband. So there was so many crazy things. If you really sit down and think back over the years of where you live, if you live in subdivisions before, a lot of things happens in these subdivisions that people don't talk about, you don't hear about. The news don't bring it out and broadcast it for everybody, because that person that was occupied, meaning the wife, that thing happened overnight. And it wasn't like big on the news out there, you know what I mean? Everybody in the neighborhood heard about it. The cops came and everything like that. But we don't always hear about these things, but these things are happening, my people. They are happening. And it always end up happening. There's something with a wife and a husband. Always with a wife and a husband. And they're not realizing that having these firearms in their homes are very dangerous as well. Because if you know that your husband or your wife got something like that, and most time it's men that bring them things in the house anyways, they could one day take it and use it on you for whatever reason. Maybe they could use it on you. It don't have to be another woman. It don't have to be another man. Guess what? It could be because of finances, because of the stress on that man to maintain or to pay for certain things. They just end up occupying their family and themselves. And then everybody left wondering, did he have another woman? Like, what? But why would he kill him? Why would he occupy himself? Not realizing it was a lot of financial stress that these people are going through. And unfortunately, where I was living, it was New Tampa. And if you know New Tampa, if you ever heard of New Tampa, where they got Corey Lake, hey, some big, big, expensive $1 million houses. Those are a lot of people that live in those big homes that have a lot of financial problems that end up pushing them to do certain crazy things. You know what I mean? When they feel like they fail, they bought this $2 million, $4 million home. They can't even keep up with it. How they gonna tell their families on the outside? People that think that they got money because, oh, they're a doctor, they're lawyers. It happens all the time, my people. And it's very, very sad. But it's the reality of life. And you know that when things like that happen in subdivisions that are gated, you know that ain't nobody from the outside that came in and did it. Nope. Ain't no intruder. They want to make it seem like it's an intruder, but it's not. Normally it's right there in that home. The person living there that do these things. And then they lie and say, oh, it was an intruder that broke in the house. And my thing was just laying over there. And, oh, yeah, I heard one story like that, too. They blame it on the intruder. But obviously, they talked to the guard at the gate. No intruder came in here, nothing. There was barely any cars that passed by. In the cars, I already got all their license plates who came into the division. If they weren't living here at this hour, they weren't getting through. They found out that it was the man himself, the husband, that did this and trying to blame it on an intruder. Yes, my people. Hey, real life stories. I see you all that joined. Lady Luck said, good morning, Sweet Peach and my beautiful people. Happy new month and happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much, darling. Same to you. Same to all of you. Happy new month indeed. Nobody else ain't got no stories. I mean, Marge seemed to be the only person that got stories and that actually is stories around her, right? I'm gonna say around her that she's living every day. But I don't know if you guys ever had any stories, but trust me, I got plenty over the years where we lived. Margaret Wood, I see you in there. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I think one person that lived at a house where we lived was really a norm. At first, they were from, hey, was it like Switzerland or one of those places, though, that they spoke like, I think it was Switzerland or New Zealand or somewhere that was living, but that was when we live in Brooklyn, though, right? True, Mildred, you're right about that. Mildred said you call these matters premeditated, maybe acts, or even premature. Yeah, because a lot of times, sometimes these people don't really plan these things. You know, sometimes, like I said, the financial stress that's on them is sometimes what drives a lot of people to do a lot of crazy acts as well. You know what I mean? Financial stress does a lot to families. And the men are the one that takes the act, not women. When women going through financial things, they try their best, see what they need to do, what they need to tweak, to change, so that too much spending wouldn't be going on anymore. Men handle it different. They get stressed out. They don't know how they're going to maintain. They went and buy all these big cars and got in the driveway, you know what I mean? When you out there passing by those streets. Because Corey Lake, the only way that we got into Corey Lake is if we come to deliver newspaper or whatever. But mostly deliver newspaper, okay? That's all I got to see in there. And see all these lavish homes and whatever. Or during the daytime, sometimes if the gates are not working, they will leave the gates open. So yeah, but Corey Lake is one of those places that was very, hey, it wasn't easy to get in Corey Lake, okay? You can look it up if it's still near Corey Lake. But yeah, so I went in there many times and, you know, you'll see all the houses, my people. They got those nice, their roof is made out of, oh Lord, not the regular roof, but if you look up Corey Lake, maybe you'll see it. I can't remember what you call those types of roofs that are very expensive that they put on top of the roof itself, I mean. And those people were paying a lot for those homes, okay? Somebody that even lived on our block, the first house on our block, they sold their house and they moved to Corey Lake. Yes, they did, my people. So that's how I got in there sometimes as well. Living the high life, you know what I mean? Mars said, no good one lately. Oh, damn. I saw somebody though that does DoorDash that said that they had to deliver Plan B. I saw that on YouTube. I remember you when I read that. When I saw that video, I laughed so bad. Plan B? Okay. I was like, damn, you can deliver anything now, Marge, on DoorDash, and I'm sure on any other thing. Whether it's Instacart, whatever. People do the most. But yes, my people, so stories are happening. People don't want to believe them, but they're real life and they're really happening. You see how I totally forgot about my neighbor in Tampa? I had forgot about that, meaning it only came back to me just now when I was telling you guys about this story and that there are real life things happening. That's when that came back to me and when I remember these people. And as I talk about them, I could still see their faces. I remember what they look like. Even if I saw a Facebook page of theirs, I would still know them because I can remember their faces so well. Yes. And like I said, by the grace of God, hopefully that woman is still alive. You know, I'm sure her husband is, yeah. Or maybe he's even somewhere. I'm going to say somewhere. Let me just leave it at that. Because only God knows how far he stalked that woman. How far. And she knew that he was stalking her anyways. So she did mention it a few times about him stalking her and watching everything she's doing. So that's why my last conversation to her was just watch your back. And just be careful out there, right? Yes, my people. So, yeah. Mars said, oh yeah, I had that on Instacart once. Really? Wow. So wait, Mars, let me understand this. So you do DoorDash and you do Instacart, or were you doing Instacart before and then you went to DoorDash? Or is it joined together, meaning that you can get orders for both? Because I think I heard somebody say that one time, that they can get orders for DoorDash, Instacart, and I don't know if they get orders for Uber as well. I don't know. Mara said, better off with a bullet than having to get Really? Why? I would think that, I would take the Plan B. Well, I mean, both of them are in kind of, you know, those people know what they're doing anyways, because they're not going to buy them, Marge. So they ain't gotta be worrying about being shamed or being embarrassed going up there buying them things. They got people to deliver them. People that will go and buy them and deliver them to their houses. So yeah. But I would do exactly what you do, Marge. When I come to the register to pay, I would say, yeah, check this for me. I gotta go and do this DoorDash delivery. I think I would just be saying that just to not make that person believe that that's mine. Not really that you care, right? Because you know that you're doing it as delivery. But I would be like, yeah, I got to put in more orders. I got to get some more orders. Let me see if I got any other order from DoorDash on this list for this store. Oh, my God. Lord have mercy. Most embarrassing moment. But Marge, the worst part would be if they say you to buy some condoms on your DoorDash or Instacart. Yeah, I don't do DoorDash. I don't do Instacart anymore. Okay. I see what you're saying now. Why? Is it different? Mara said, I do shopping orders on DoorDash now, sometimes. Okay. But Marge, did anybody ever order where they want you to buy condoms? I'm just curious, or even KY jelly, like... Because imagine doing DoorDash and you got to order and it said they needed condoms, they needed what the hell it called? KY jelly or any of those things. Imagine you bringing those to the register and the person up there is not a man this time, but it's a woman, and she's looking at you kind of weird when she's checking the stuff. Oh my God. Jesus, take the wheel. I can't imagine those things, meaning I don't know which one for me would be the worst, the most embarrassing one. I don't, maybe the dill. The dill would be the most embarrassing one for me. I don't know if, do they sell them things in Walgreens, like dildos? I don't know, right? But if somebody put on a DoorDash list for me to actually go and buy it to deliver to them, I will have to look 3 times. Can I reject this order? Well, you ain't 62. What do you mean by that? Marge, let me ask you a question though. When you're doing DoorDash, if an order comes in that's really out the norm, can you reject it? Like, can you swipe that one or decline that one? I don't know how it works, right? But I'm curious because if somebody had put a dildo on my DoorDash delivery, I don't know if I'll be able to go and buy it. I don't know. When they come in the store, they got this specific one. Yes, I'm looking for this here for a DoorDash order. I will have to be putting DoorDash in there because I will be so embarrassed, right? My God. Marge, what do you mean by, well, you ain't 62? What do you mean by that? Are you trying to say that people that are 62 in those ages are ordering these things? Oh, God. Stephanie John Ford, I see you in there. Lord have mercy. And we would think that these things are happening. We would think that people are not ordering bullets and Plan B and condoms and dildos and etc. on DoorDash or the other apps. She said, yep, I bought that stuff for them. Really? What? So, Marge, I am sure that when you go to pay for these things at the register, you are letting you're letting these people know that you are DoorDashing. What? Marge said, yes, condoms, KY, you name it, Jesus. And you see, Marge, I was just putting that out there. You actually went and buy all them things already, Marge? Damn. Wow. I don't know. I would feel weird, though. Like, even though I know I'm DoorDashing, I will want everybody to know, even if they're behind me in the line. But do you have a DoorDash bag? Because I would need to bring my DoorDash bag in the store so that when I put my DoorDash bag there and I'm ready to pay for these things, they can see that this is DoorDash. Okay, Mars say yes, you can decline it. Okay, there you go. I think I will be declining some of them things. All depends on how much you're making from it, right? Because all depends on where you got to deliver that. You might be making a good piece of change from it, so you might decide not to decline it. Oh, God. But, Marge, are you 62? Is that what you're saying? You're not 62? Marge said the problem is you accept the order, and then you have to decline it, and it affects your completion. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, now I get it. If your completion rate is too low, you get fired. Oh, I see now. Okay. Jesus, take the wheel. Mara said, I mentioned the age because you talk about being embarrassed at the register. Well, yes. Mara, imagine going to the register and you know most people, right? Certain things they want to order it, have it delivered because nobody knew that you ordered it. But imagine you going in the store to pick up these kind of things. They got maybe 5 people in the line behind you. Maybe there's a register of 2 people, one here, one across. All them people can see where you come and put up KY jelly, condoms, a dildo, all this. And all them people wondering, damn, is that serious? She need all that? Oh my God. She said most embarrassing for an older woman than a younger woman. Lord have mercy. But people do more ordering from Amazon or any of those other places nowadays, to be honest. But seems like people are doing a lot more on DoorDash now. Oh my God. I don't know if I could do it. I'm sorry. Meaning, well, I mean, when you go and you put the stuff at that person's door, you don't see their face. But you just see the name of the person who ordered that and their address. That's it. And then you go about your way because it's your job, right? So you can't go and talk about people put their names out like that. And who would even know them anyways, right? But I love Marge DoorDash stories. My God, I've never done DoorDashing in my life. But if I was ever forced to, I would. So you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? I never done Instacart either, but I did Uber before, the transportation wise, yeah. And I tried the Uber delivery of food, and I was like, heck no, it wasn't worth it to me. You know what I mean? It was too much stress of going into restaurants. That was many years ago, anyways. Going into the restaurants, waiting for these stupid orders when I could have been out there driving around a couple of people, because I drove mostly in the Disney area. I didn't want to venture off because that was my first time. And I didn't want to venture off into no places that I going to pick up no local person that might try to copy me. So I try to stay in Disney where all the tourists come in. And you know what I mean? Janice Joseph, I see you in there. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend too, dear. Well, my people, enough of my stories. But these are real life stories. These are not makeup stories. Like I told you, these things are actually happening around us. And sometimes you hear about it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you see these things on YouTube and you think that people just make up some of these stories. Trust me, they don't. They don't. A lot of these things are true and real and happening. That's why they get to come out in the front, right? People hear about them, people talk about them. So yeah. But my neighbor's story, that should have been brought to the internet, meaning it should have been a wide awakening for a lot of people, knowing that men will go to the extreme to do these things to you. Especially if a man felt like, okay, you was not working. He was buying every damn thing, every painting, every clock in our house, everything he was funding because you were not working. You were a stay-at-home parent. And now he's very upset and he's ready to take vengeance against you. That story needed to come to the internet. I'm sorry. Mary say, oh, why? Wow, Disney must be busy. Oh, yes. Very, darling. Very busy. And that's where I delivered mostly because I was not living. I was living maybe 10 minutes. Well, no, 15 minutes right from Disney is where I used to live. And when I was doing the Uber, I would always come and just park in the parking lot of this McDonald's, knowing that any calls that come to me, they're going to Disney. Yes, I got a few that venture off to SeaWorld, Universal Studios, that took me to Orlando, that I used to be very upset. Because once you go to Universal Studios, which was over in the part of Orlando / Kissimmee area, but mostly Orlando, by the time you get up there, now you're getting calls for Orlando area. And I used to try my best to try to get from over in that area because, again, I wasn't too, hype on some of them areas. Because now I'm going to get local calls. So sometimes I would just turn off the stupid thing, come back over to Kissimmee and stay on that area. There was a place called Convention Center. Oh, God, what was that Convention Center? Hey, can't remember the name of the convention center. Anyway, it was in Kissimmee. And I used to get a lot of calls for there as well. People coming from town and they're going to events at a convention center. People leaving from there because they had an area where people could stay and going back to the airport. Those are the ones that used to make you lots of money, darling. Plenty money. So yes, those were the days. And Marsh, keep us up to date on some of your dashing stories out there. I'd love to hear about it. Bye-bye. Have a great day.